we're seeing an increase in discipline issues. And one of those things is young students, elementary age kiddos, becoming angry quicker and being frustrated quicker. But then as you watch them in the classroom, you see yawning, you see students that are rubbing their eyes. You can definitely tell that they're tired and they're not prepared for the school day.
You're listening to the SmartSocial.com podcast. This is our District Talk segment where we interview district leaders to learn how they're keeping students safe on social media. And we also ask them questions that we get from parents all over the country in our program. Now let's get back to the interview.
Hi, I'm Ray Lord, Superintendent of the Madison School District in Rexburg, Idaho. We are in Southeast Idaho. We have 6,000 students in 10 schools.
Superintendent, it's so great to have you here today. Welcome to the program and welcome to all of our viewers as we talk about keeping kids safe on social media so they can be massively successful in school and someday they can shine online after the age of 16 when their parents and the district is ready. Now today we're highlighting superintendent concerns, issues, advice, and insight from the past and also experience you have. Superintendent, my first question for you is, the question is about parent education. As districts implement cell phone-free policies, parents are telling us they're left in the dark begging for strategies they can use to work with their kiddos at home. What are your suggestions for districts to increase parent ed and engagement around cell phone usage?
I think the number one thing as schools and districts we need to do is bring our parents out of the dark. We need to have our parents there with us at the table as we start to discuss the issues and the concerns we have. And then I think some of the things that we talk about in schools can be implemented at home.
Yeah, well said. Give me an example of how do we get them out of the dark? Do you have any ideas? Are you doing any parent ed evening events that gets them out of the dark, gets them on the same page as the district?
We meet a couple of times a year with parents and invite them to come to what's called a meet with the superintendent. And as you come to that meeting, come prepared to have some discussions about things that you're seeing at home with your students, frustrations you may have with public education. And then in those meetings, we talk about the things we're seeing in the classrooms with student discipline. We talk about cell phone usage. That's a big topic right now, is cell phone usage in the classroom and how to help them help their students as they come prepared to learn each day.
Yeah, I want to get to that in a future question of asking you about cell phone usage in the classroom. The next question I have for you is excessive screen time impact on student behavior. We can dive into that cell phone usage. How are you seeing excessive screen time impact kids' motivation, self-esteem, academic performance, and decision-making in the district? I'd love to hear from you, Superintendent, in the classroom and at home. Are you seeing any changes in behaviors?
Well, I think you are. I know we are here in our district. We're seeing an increase in discipline issues. And one of those things is young students, elementary age kiddos, becoming angry quicker and being frustrated quicker. But then as you watch them in the classroom, you see yawning, you see students that are rubbing their eyes. You can definitely tell that they're tired and they're not prepared for the school day.
You know, Superintendent, you're not alone. And we're hearing this from we're at about 180 to 190 episodes of superintendents sharing their story, just like this episode on our podcast. And we hear that a lot. And I kind of want to double click on this, if I have your permission, and ask you. So you mentioned angry quicker. We're seeing that a lot here at the Smart Social Research Crew as we research Fortnite and all these other video games where they're playing and maybe they yell at their mom at home. Mom, I don't want to go to dinner. You don't understand. I've got 20 more minutes on this game. We always remind parents, and for our listeners, it's a very normal behavior and outcome when you give younger kids this type of device that stimulates their eyes and creates this. It's not your child that's the problem. Usually it's the game plus your child, as our psychologists say here at smartsocial.com. Superintendent, are you seeing any excessive screen time impact the students' sleep or maybe their lack of focus in the classroom? A lot of superintendents go, I don't feel alone anymore. I heard, from another colleague. You seeing any of that?
Yes, yeah, we are. One of the things that we see a lot of, especially at our secondary level with our coaches, we have coaches that tell parents, take the cell phone away at night, put it up, and then we have conversations where we have coaches saying, hey, kids are getting texts at 2 and 3 in the morning. They're getting snaps at 2 and 3 in the morning. And when kiddos aren't getting, the 6 to 8 hours, the 8, 10 hours of sleep that they need, it's going to affect not only what they do in the classroom, but it's also going to affect their behavior. Any of us are grumpy when we don't get the amount of sleep that we need.
especially a kid that needs all the nutrients and sleep and rest with growing bones, right? That's when we grow. So 100% of what you're saying. And the kiddo needs as much sleep as they can get, which is incredible. For those of you parents watching right now, remember Smart Social is a big fan of you being that tough parent. And I think that most school districts have agreed with us. That means if your kids are upset with you once a month or once a week because you took away some screen time that's better for them in the future, that might make them upset at you, we've got your back. That means they might yell at you or dislike you, but they're better at 25 because you did the difficult thing now. We're here for you with the resources.
Just a personal story on that, if I may. We have 5 children in our home, and each one of them, as they've grown up, still one left at home, and we put the phone in our bathroom off our room. And the number of times it dings during the night to wake up an old guy, right? I just think, I don't know how a kid ever gets any sleep if they don't take that time and put it away. And then we also remind parents, you know what, that kid's in your home. That's your cell phone. You go ahead and put it away and have restrictions, guidelines.
You're a good dad to take the time to put that phone in the bathroom, probably on a charging station or some kind of a plug. And you're a better human than I am, because if you're letting it buzz all night, I would probably turn that thing off or put it in auto shutdown mode every night at 11 p.m. That's a lot of buzzing, right?
Once that happened and took place, we went right to that, took your advice, and it's like, okay, this thing's getting turned off. It can charge. We're not going to get dinged all night long.
The only thing that matters in the world to most all parents is the kids and the dog and the spouse. And so they're all in your house. So nobody needs to contact your kid when they're under parental watch. So I love that. You're such a good dad to do that. It's not easy. Amazing. Okay, for all of our viewers, you know that Smart Social listens to parents all over the country. This is our passion. Parents are asking us, Josh, what advice would you give to a student to help them recognize some of the red flags of a dangerous stranger online? This is from one of our world-class events that we host. Gone are the days of one social media safety speaker. We now do this 50 to 60 times a year. Let's hear from a real student about how she might help a friend recognize red flags of a stranger if she heard about this happening.
If I had a friend talking online to a stranger, I think that I would feel a little bit uncomfortable with the whole situation. I would advise against it because so many indirect issues can come from that, and it could cause something to be worse than if they had just unadded them in the first place. Some red flags that I would have to advise them to cut it off with this person or to stop engaging would be if the person starts to get very involved in their personal life and they seem to be very intrigued in what's going on with them and wanting to know all the little details about what they do and who they are, and just very personal details and things that you wouldn't normally share with a stranger in real life. If they're very persistent and constantly wanting to talk to my friend or constantly trying to be involved in their life or wanting to speak to them, I feel like that's kind of a red flag. Another thing would be if they ask them to ever meet them anywhere in person right from the start, if they feel a sense of being uncomfortable or their intuition is just saying it's wrong, or if my intuition is saying something feels wrong with this, then I think that's a major red flag.
Parents, remember, these kinds of real teen videos are in all of our programs. Bring your kids to one of our evening events, and we'll have that difficult talk with them in front of you about how to be safe, how to look at stranger danger, how to know when to give your phone to your parents so that you can be better in class and get the things you want in the future. Parents, remember that we've got weekly live events, teen-led video lessons, premium parent newsletter. And if you bring your kid to the program, there's an opportunity at the end to learn about our student internship where your teens can actually do a project, get a little gift card, and learn how to become a part of this. Now, we're going to do a quick view of what goes right in districts all over the country. Parents, we love you. Superintendents and everybody in between. This is what we're trying to do with the mission here.
From preventing bullying to identifying online predators, the Lucia Mar Unified School District is working with an online company, Smart Social, to educate parents in the community about iPhone safety.
Hillary Dixon is looking to establish cell phone rules for her 2 teenagers.
What the rules will be on school nights, what kind of places my kids are sort of okay to go to online, and what kind of things we as a family have agreed are not appropriate.
Dixon is also the Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum for Lucia Mar Unified School District.
Ensuring that our students are using digital tools, cell phones and computers appropriately is something that both parents and schools deal with on a daily basis.
Lucia Mar began partnering last year with the Smart Social team.
Smart Social is a website providing online guidance for parents to better understand new technologies and safety for their kids.
My husband and I have actually both used some of the tools to help have conversations with our kids.
This website shows the dangers of apps with hidden features, helps parents come up with dialogue starters, and more. What would you say to the parents that are scared to have those kinds of conversations with their children?
Yeah. Some parents say, but my kids have the right to privacy, or I'm afraid to bring these up. So we give them real dialogue starters and we say, please screenshot these, have this dialogue, open it up. Don't tell your kids what to do. Don't be preachy, but rather ask them questions.
The program is made available to parents and families throughout the school.
Within the district, many of our counselors and our administrators have reported great feedback in engaging with families whose students are struggling with appropriate use at school.
We'll have more information on how you can get involved on our website at kspy.com.
All right. So remember, we've got a lineup all year long, different events, different topics. We do this about 50 to 60 times a year, parents. We look forward to having you there. We're back to our guest. We're talking about behaviors contributing to chronic absenteeism. Superintendent, this is something that Smart Social has recently realized that some of our live events all year long with our 10 times promise to districts, how do we get 10 times the parent engagement so that everyone feels safer? We're realizing and hearing that we're helping with absenteeism. And I'd love your feedback on this. Some districts are saying screen time, sleep disturbances, increased anxiety, depression, and cyberbullying are contributing to chronic absenteeism in some kiddos. Are you seeing this or other related online behaviors impacting student attendance?
Josh, we are. In fact, several of those items you talked about, screen bullying, online bullying takes place. School districts around the nation have gotten really good about helping with the normal bullying, I guess, if you want to call it, where somebody pushes somebody in a hallway. The area we can't control and can't get a handle on it at some point is that screen time bullying that takes place at midnight or 1 a.m. when somebody goes to their Instagram account or Facebook and they're being bullied there, or they're seeing somebody say something bad about them. Well, then how do I lay down and go back to sleep?
Yeah.
I don't. I'm up all night. I worry. I fret. Anxiety increases. All of a sudden, it's 6:37 in the morning. I'm being told time for breakfast. Got to get on the bus. Anxiety ramps up again because I may miss the bus. I haven't got my hair done. Oh, what about? And all they're thinking about in the back of their mind is the things that were said about them mean online. So then all of a sudden I'm now sick and I don't feel well. My belly hurts. So now I go to school, and then that starts out 1 day, 2 days, a week, 40 days. And all of a sudden the kid's chronic absenteeism is huge. So.
Yeah, I really appreciate this data because so many other district leaders are noticing this stemming from online information late night. Some parents want to be the dad that you are, but they don't know how to take that phone away and put it in their bathroom and then shut it off so that no one's buzzing anyone. Parents, you have the right to do that. And we at Smart Social have resources on how to have that dialogue with your kids. So it makes it a little bit more manageable. Superintendent, I'd love to ask you, what percentage of the chronic absenteeism stems from the online information versus any other area versus co-parenting or stuff? Do you think the online stuff is a majority of that?
I think you're probably at about a 60-40, 40% being the online avenue, just because I think it continues and you see a higher relevance of it in the secondary schools, a middle school, junior high than you do in the elementaries. But I still think there's some issues of that taking place in the elementaries. And then, the 60% of our absenteeism is due to, lots of things, vacations, kids going, working too late at night, lots of things. But I would say 40% of our absenteeism would deal with cell phone or screen time, and whether that's gaming, whether that's on the cell phone, on the laptop.
Yeah, and that's a big chunk. So there's all these other little tiny things that add up to 60%, but 40% is probably screen time, which is just huge. Yeah. I appreciate you filling us in there. In addition, the next question I have for you is the screen time impact on the home environment. I'd love your insights here. What do you suggest parents can do to create a more peaceful environment at home and set boundaries around excessive screen time and gaming?
Thanks, Josh. One of the things I think that we do in our schools here that I absolutely love, instituted in my own home, is parking lot for the phones. We have a basket set on the counter, and when it's dinner time, phone goes in the basket. And we're not going to answer texts. We're not going to answer phone calls. Are we perfect at it? No. But are we trying? Yeah, because we see the importance of taking that time and getting back to the day where we have personal conversation instead of worrying about what's being said about us online or what email needs to be checked or what phone call needs to be answered.
You're such a good dad too. And I've never really said that on the episodes. I like that. 5 kids, it's nuts. It's amazing. But my question for you would be, what would your advice be to some parents to go, you don't understand that they'll get angry at me if I take that away? What would be your cautionary tale to parents if they don't learn how to have that dinner? And it's not perfect. Nobody's perfect. There's going to be a dinner where the kids are on their phones, but a few times a week, like, is there a dinner where we have eye contact? What would be your tale or your dialogue starter that parents could use to get Billy or Christina or their kid to put that phone down, even if the kid just doesn't like them for 3 nights in a row, so they can have that conversation?
Yeah, that's similar to the conversation I have with parents when they say, boy, athletics, cheerleading, it's expensive. I say, well, it's less money than probation. And so I would turn around and tell them the same thing. Yeah, they're going to be mad for a day or two. They still need the keys to the car. They still need gas money. So kids will come back and they'll realize that what you're doing is for their best benefit. And even if they don't, you as the adult know what you're doing is right. There's research behind it. The Association of Pediatrics tells us that the data is behind taking that cell phone away, having those good conversations, learning to look somebody in the eye, all those things that come with it.
Yeah, so well said, Superintendent. This has been a great time. For all of our listeners right now, a lot of great tips here. We talked a little bit about increase in discipline issues if we see a lot of cell phone usage in class. Parents, I want you to realize that the superintendent is giving you the secret to letting your kids focus more in the classroom. Maybe we don't need to be texting them all the time, or whether the student has it put away or anything. And then also kids are getting angry quicker, which I think is fascinating. Sometimes because of gaming, sometimes just because they want to scroll and they're at a low for the dopamine that they're trying to get. And maybe they're a little bit resistant to that now. Superintendent, thank you so much for your time today. We appreciate you coming out.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you. For all of our listeners, remember we've got those live events every single week here at smartsocial.com. You're never left alone. We have them in English and in Espanol and in Mandarin. Yes, you can listen to me in all 3 languages. And there's about another 9 languages on our site so that no one is left behind. We're teaching all kinds of different content, and you can ask any questions you want in the chat box. Everybody gets everything answered. We're excited to see you on the next program. And parents as well, remember, no matter what you do online, remember to keep it light, bright, and polite, because your kids are watching what you're doing online. We'll see all of you on the next episode. Have a great rest of the day. Take care. Thanks for listening to the smartsocial.com podcast. Smart Social helps parents understand technology and social media to keep their kids safe and successful. Be sure to join one of our weekly online live events to become the smartest parent on the block so you can keep your kids safe and protect their future. Also, don't miss our 450 plus online resources and replays you can watch on demand in multiple languages. Are you a school district wanting to unlock these resources for your parents? Reach out to us so we can protect your whole community each week. Have a great rest of the day, and we'll see you on the next episode.